It's 11, Anubhuti. I think you should begin.
Yes, sir. So, a very warm welcome to all the lovely participants in our wonderful session of the Young Environmentalist. Thank you so much for registering for our session and for logging in on this weekend, this holiday day. So let us begin our session with some interesting conversation. All right. So I hope all of you know the topic of this session. Revant, oh yeah, Jayati, it's very nice to see you. Jayati, would you like to tell us what is the topic of this session today? Let me unmute you.
Yeah, the topic is the vanishing of the wetlands. So as the title, I understand something that in this session, we are going to see that how our wetlands are vanishing from the global warming or pollution, etc.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you so much. Let me find some more interesting children to answer a few questions for us. Let me begin with Revant. So Revant, can you please switch on your video and answer this question for us? So what is a wetland?
Wetlands are under the sea.
They are under the sea? Okay. Do you want to think a little more? Okay, fine. Okay, so Adya has a response to that. Adya, can you please unmute yourself? We just saw your video. Adya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, you're not allowed us to.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, mics.
Okay. Oh, we love to see you. Yeah, so tell us. Do you know what is a wetland?
Yes. Wetlands are like sponges. They take in the water when there's lots of water and release the water when the water is needed.
Oh my God, this is so amazing. Thank you so much. So basically, a wetland is not just a land which is wet. It is something more, right? Okay, cool. Let me take in some more questions so that we build up to our session nicely. Okay, Divit, my next question is to you. Tell us which of these is not a wetland, okay? Which of these is not a wetland? So A, rice field, B, a school building, C, a marshy land. Which of these is not a wetland? You will have to unmute yourself.
Marshland. Marshland.
Okay, so you think that a marshy land is not a wetland? Okay. Can you tell us like a little about yourself? Like which class do you put up in and where do you stay? Do you stay in a city? Do you stay in a rural area? Where?
My name is Vanishing.
Okay.
I live in Gurgaon.
Gurgaon.
Yes, it's in Haryana.
Okay. All right. Which class do you study?
7th grade.
All right. Okay. So let me proceed to Divyanshu Shekhar. Divyanshu, I'm unmuting you. Divyanshu, can you tell us which of these is not a wetland? The same question. A rice field, a marshy land, or your school building?
Ma'am, that was I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat the question?
So which of these is not a wetland? इनमें से कौन सा wetland नहीं है? Is your school building a wetland area? Or is a rice field चावल का खेत? Is that a wetland area?
Ma'am, that's our field.
Okay, so that is interesting. So I think the correct answer will be given to you in a while during our presentation. Do stay tuned. Now we'll proceed to our third and last question. The tricky, quirky question for today is simple one. I'll go to Prithvi Chandra. Prithvi, have you ever been to a wetland?
No, ma'am, I have not.
No, you haven't? Or would you like to?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to visit, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell us a little about yourself? Which class do you stay? Which class do you study in? Oh, I think Prithvi has muted himself. Okay. So without wasting any time further, let us, now that the stage has been set for the topic for the day, let me introduce to you our wonderful guest for the day. She is Susmita Sengupta. Susmita works with us at the Center for Science and Environment. This is our logo. I'm sorry. Yeah, the green one. Yes, sorry. Okay. So Center for Science and Environment, as you know, we are based in Delhi, and CSE runs the Young Environmentalist website. Yeah, this one, which is presenting you the masterclass today. So Susmita is our wetland and water expert. She is our Pandit and Guru on water conservation. She is a geologist by qualification. She then proceeded to work as a lecturer with the Delhi University and the Jamia Millia Islamia University in Delhi. She then had an aggregate of about 13 years of experience working on rocks, soils, aquifers, groundwater, wetland, water conservation, and many such important issues. So today, we have invited her to tell us something which we do not know, and which is mainly about the importance and conservation of wetlands. When Susmita is not bothered by office colleagues like us, she loves cooking and enjoys spending time with her wonderful daughter. So I now welcome Susmita to address our children and our wonderful audience.
Thanks, Anubhuti. Good morning, everybody. Welcome you all to this session. So I was just hearing to the wonderful kids. I think they have lots of imaginations, and that is a good part of it, because as you grow old, you become too practical and you lose your imagination power. So that's a good part I like about the kids. So when they say that their school building is also a part of wetland, I like this imagination. I like to think that all our wetlands are all near us, near our buildings, near our schools, and every day we have a chance to look at the wetlands. So I find few who have not seen a wetland, and it's so I feel so sad for it, because every city actually used to grow around a water body. And so let's start the session. And before I start, can anybody write in the chat box, like yesterday, what did we celebrate on 22nd April? Yesterday was 22nd April. And anyone who wants to write on the chat box, what did we celebrate on 22nd April?
That's great. We are getting quite a few responses.
Okay. So anyone who wants to actually verbally tell us, anyone can raise their hands, just unmute. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you please coordinate?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go to Adya once again. Yeah, Adya, tell us. What did we celebrate yesterday? Sorry. Yeah. Yes, Adya, tell us.
Actually, we celebrated World Earth Day.
Oh, that is amazing. Thank you so much.
So this follows another question. So how much of the earth is underwater, and how much is the land area we have? Any approximate idea?
Let me take some new faces. Madhav Shankar, would you like to answer this question? I'm unmuting you. Yes, Madhav, go on.
Ma'am, 1/3 of the earth is covered with water.
Any other answer?
Dinesh Sharma in the chat strip says 70% water.
Good. Any other? Yeah, Dinesh, you are almost right that most of the part, almost 75% of the Earth's area is covered by water. So that means we should not have any scarcity of water. And so we start our presentation. Okay, so let's first look at this picture. Yeah, I'll give 5 seconds. Please read this picture and then I will ask questions. See minutely what we have at the back, in the front, in the side. So you have 5 seconds. Anubhuti, tell me when 5 seconds is over.
Yeah, I think we can
Next, move to next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So quickly go through these options and you have 10 seconds to write down what it is. Is it a playground? Is it an entertainment park? Is it a landfill site? Is it something from the moon or the Mars or none of the above? You can write just the option A, B, C, D, E, F. Anything.
We are having a variety of responses from our audience.
Okay.
A lot of them say F.
Okay.
Some of them also say C.
Oh.
And one of them says A. Anvesha Singh says A.
Anvesha Singh says A. That's interesting. Interesting. So can we unmute Anvesha and ask her why she thinks it's A?
Anvesha, I'm unmuting you. Would you like to tell us why do you think the picture looks like a big playground?
Ma'am, it is looking like a playground.
Can you be a little louder?
Ma'am, am I audible?
You need to be a slightly louder. Acha, go on.
Anyone else who thinks it's A? Anubhuti?
Well, I think Gauri Sharma also feels that it is A.
Gauri Sharma, can we connect with Gauri Sharma?
One second.
Okay, so who cannot speak can write in the chat box, like why is it that they feel that it's option A? Why do they feel that this is a playground? Or we actually move on. We see that there are people who are playing cricket there. So maybe because of that, they feel that that is a big playground. Okay, they are correct in saying that they are playing cricket, and they are correct in understanding that it is a playground. But was it a playground before also? Let's move to the next picture. So this is a picture of the same playground, whatever they think that it's a playground, with a water level measuring instrument at the top of the pillar. So where do we put this type of structures? We put this type of structures near a water body. So this means that the whole playground was once a water body. And which water body? So people living in Delhi and NCR must be knowing the name, and I'm just revealing the name of the water body. Here we go. It's a Barkha Lake in Faridabad. So it's a water body. It was once upon a time a big water body which dried up. And who is responsible for us? We the human beings are responsible for it. Now, to tell you in very simple words, I have heard someone saying that it's under ocean. Someone said that it's a wet body. Yeah, simply put, it can be said that wetland means it's a body with water. There is some presence of water in it. So let's see this video to understand more what is a wetland and what are the different types of wetlands, so that we understand the question that was put by Anubhuti, saying that which of these three is a wetland. So after this, we will all know what is a wetland. So I'm just trying and playing this video. Sorry. Anubhuti, can you hear it?
This is Neela Hauz or Blue Tank. It is a natural depression next to Sanjay Van in South Delhi, India. The tank, once a major source of fresh water in South Delhi and later a dumping ground due to rapid urbanization, is presently a constructed wetland. The wetland treats sewage water through bioremediation and lets it flow into the lake. It is not only efficient and reliable when compared to mechanical sewage treatment plants, but it's also economical. It requires zero electricity. Today, the wetland converts 1 million liters of sewage water per day into clean water comparable to tap water, having less than BOD 4 milligrams per liter per day. The success story of Neela Hauz has made officials consider similar implementations in other water bodies and develop a network of wetlands ecosystem in the city. Colombo has such a network in place that provides critical life support to the city. This also helps decrease floods. In 2018, Colombo was declared the first capital to be accredited as an international wetland city by Ramsar. Many other cities are coming to realize the significance of wetlands, its intricate connections with the sustainability of the environment and the well-being of the people. Just as forests are called the lungs of the earth, wetlands are the kidneys that regulate water and filter waste from the landscape. Wetlands include mangroves, peatlands and marshes, rivers and lakes, deltas, rice fields, and even coral reefs. Wetlands exist in every country and in every climatic zone. In India, around 4.63% of the geographical area is wetlands. A total of 7,57,060 wetlands have been mapped in the country. But why are wetlands important? Wetland ecosystems support a host of animal and plant life, and they are critically important for the survival of humans too, from the mitigation of climate change to the protection of human settlements from floods. But sadly, 50% of the world's wetlands have been destroyed. Without suitable wetland habitat, many species could soon be homeless. Let us explore the benefits of wetlands in detail. Wetlands are great filters. They trap sediments and remove pollutants, which helps to purify water. This certainly beats expensive human-made filtration systems. Wetlands work like giant sponges. They store water and then slowly release it, and this helps to deal with dry seasons with little rainfall. Wetlands can prevent floods. When rivers burst their banks, wetlands can store the excess water and slow it down so it distributes more evenly over a floodplain. The roots of trees and other vegetation also helps slow the speed of floodwaters. In the past, city planners either filled in wetlands areas or dammed them, adding pipes that would lead the water to the ocean as fast as possible. But now, we know that wetlands allow water to soak into the ground and to replenish the natural groundwater supply. Biodiversity is high around wetlands habitats. These areas provide food and shelter for many animals. The biodiversity of wetlands has produced some incredible specialist species that are only found in these habitats. Wetlands provide good areas for grazing, and the variety of grasses along with the supply of running water can be beneficial to farming livestock. Wetlands provide locations for recreation. Wetlands provide people a place to visit where they can enjoy nature walks, picnics, birding, fishing, or even sailing. As more people flock to cities, these recreational spaces in nature become even more valuable. Urban wetlands are prize land and therefore should be integrated into the development and management plans of cities. The Ramsar Convention Wetland City Accreditation recognizes 18 cities that have taken exceptional steps to safeguard their urban wetlands. These pioneer cities will serve as examples and inspire deliberate actions for other cities towards sustainable urbanization. Currently in India, 47 wetlands with a surface area of over 1 million hectares are designated as wetlands of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. One of the most important ones in this list is the 55-acre East Kolkata wetlands. It is the world's only fully functional organic sewage management system. These unique wetlands receive the city's sewage, organically treated with the help of sunshine, oxygen, and microbial action, and turn into a productive fish habitat. In short, these wetlands are Kolkata's free sewage remediation works, a fertile aquatic garden, and most importantly, a natural flood defense for the low-lying city. The capital, Delhi, has identified 1,043 water bodies, but none are notified. This, however, could soon change, with the capital expected to notify 10 major lakes and water bodies as wetlands by the end of March. The Delhi State Wetland Authority is expected to release a draft notification for each water body under the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules of 2017. As cities grow and demand for land increases, the tendency is to encroach on wetlands. But this needs to be reversed as wetlands represent an essential component of strategies for adaptation to and mitigation of climate change. These areas
Please put it on full screen.
So, did they like the video? Did they like the video? Okay, they can give a thumbs up if they like the video. Okay. Thank you. So, next question. A clean wetland near you. Just 10 seconds to write any clean wetland, any clean water body. Now that we know that what is a wetland, so let's write a clean wetland near your house, near your granny's house, near your uncle's house, near your school, near your playground, anywhere. Near your, I don't know, maybe some entertainment park, any wetland you have visited. Let's make it like this. Let's make it open. Any clean wetland you have visited. So, Anubhuti, can you coordinate, please?
Sure. Yeah, sure, Susmita. So we are getting again a variety of answers. In fact, some of them are really interesting. So people are answering Powai Lake. There's somebody who's answering Ramsagar. Mangalvanam, Surajpur wetland, Deepur Bil is said by Saurav Saha. Neeli Jheel and Asola Bhati Life Sanctuary by Vandana K. Sanjay Van, Digi Talab, Kaveri Lake, Rice Field, Tirunagar Lake in Madurai. And there are many others who say that there is no wetland around them.
Oh, that's so sad. So I think there is someone, Adia has actually.
Okay, Adia, do you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in second grade, I learned that people wash their clothes and a lot of unclean stuff goes into the freshwater rivers. And many fishes, birds, and other stuff that lives in the water bodies get harmed by the garbage that we throw in the waters.
In fact, we can also take a response.
Yeah.
Sorry. We can also take a response from Sheetal Pathania. I can notice, Sheetal, that you have projected our masterclass in your classroom. And it is thrilling for us to note this. Does any one of your student, will any one of your student would like to come and tell us about the wetlands that you see near you? I'm unmuting you. Sheetal Pathania? I think Sheetal is away, so we can proceed.
Okay. So when we are talking about wetlands, when we are talking about a clean wetland, and when our friend is telling that she is sad that so much soap is entering into the wetland and killing the fishes, cleaning all the living organisms inside the wetland. So let's discuss why we are actually discussing urban wetland. Why? Because in just 7 to 8 years, 40% of India's population will be in the cities. Means if 100 people live in India, 40 people will migrate to the cities. Only 60 people will be there in the rural areas if the total population is 100. And we have such big cities, big states like Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Punjab, where we will have not 40% but 50%. But more people means more water. We need more and more water. But the supply will be limited. If supply is coming from one source, then it will be limited. So before that, I want to understand whether they know where their water supply is coming from. Can anyone write in the chat box where their water supply is coming from? Are we getting any answers?
Definitely. So Kumar Gaurav Mishra says that it comes from groundwater. Okay. We have responses from, okay, Shaurya Kusuma. Shaurya Kusuma says that our water comes from oceans. Shaurya, would you like to speak a little? I think we have lost Shaurya.
Okay. Anyone else?
Vandana says rivers.
Okay.
Some say mountains as well. And it's mostly streams, groundwater. So I think our audience...
some source of water. So some source of wetland. Maybe some rivers, maybe ocean is also correct because some part of India actually use desalination plant to take the ocean water. That is also correct in some sense. And also we have rivers, streams, groundwaters, and all sorts of water sources to supply water. Now the population is increasing. So what happens? Our demand for water also increases. So what do we do? Now I again have a set of questions. what do we do? Do we dig more tube wells to create groundwater? We buy more bottled water, which is again depending on groundwater. We go to nearby ponds or lakes to collect water, or we leave the city. We say, no, we are not going to live in this city. We will migrate and go to another city. Or is it A and B together? Or A, B, C all together, or none of the above? So you have 10 seconds to reply to this question. Please write in the chat box. Anyone who doesn't answer the question, doesn't understand what is written there, you may ask Anubhuti. Anubhuti can explain. Or you can ask me directly also. Anyone who doesn't understand what is written there. So Anubhuti, did we get answers?
A lot of them actually.
Okay, tell me.
So a majority of response, a majority for option C.
Option C. Okay.
Yeah.
Option C. Okay. Okay. So they want to go to the nearby ponds and lakes to get water.
Okay,
And if that dries up, or if, as our friend said, that it gets polluted, then what happens? Then what happens? Because what are the functions of the urban wetlands? Groundwater, as I said, many said groundwater, we get the source of water from ground. So this wetlands, they recharge the groundwater, they seep, the water seeps in and recharges the groundwater below. Or as we have seen in the film, it acts like a sponge, and any huge discharge of water can be absorbed in it. Or you have seen birds, you have seen animals, and also people fish. People actually have, there are boatmen. So there are different types of livelihoods which is supported by this wetlands. Now, if we say that we remove these wetlands from our life, then what happens? It gets polluted, or it gets encroached. Again, a wetland picture where we see high rises. So it's very common in the cities where we see high rises on the wetlands, or we see polluted wetland with highlands. So someone said they have seen Dipor Bill. Who is that, Anubhuti? Someone said about Dipor Bill. Some our friend Sanjay. I think I remember the name Sanjay. Was it Sanjay?
Let me check.
Someone said Dipor Bill.
Saurav Saha.
Saurav.
Yeah, Saurav.
Can you please unmute yourself?
Would you like to speak up? Saurav? I think the audio is not working.
Okay. So I would like to share with Saurav and all other friends that this is a picture from Dipor Bill itself. So Dipor Bill means either he is living in Assam, Guwahati, or he has visited in one of his in his holidays the Dipor Bill. So anything can be that. So
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Saurav, please. So are you from Assam? Are you from Guwahati?
Yeah, I'm living in Guwahati.
Oh,
yeah, yes, ma'am.
Great. So have you seen the Dipor Bill?
Yes, I'm living nearby the Port Bill only. That's Guwahati University. So that bill is almost enclosed by the different construction of buildings from all sides.
Yeah. Have you seen your airport?
Yeah.
Airport. So the airport.
Yes,
built on what?
It's near our wetland side only. Yes, that's.
Yeah.
Even the railway line also constructed near the Port Bill, middle of that railway line.
Thank you for sharing the story from Guwahati. So are you studying there?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So may we know what you are studying?
Yeah, I'm studying geography. I'm doing PhD actually here in geography department on water resource management.
Oh, great. So, so are your department planning anything to actually restore the bill? Any project you are doing?
There's some PhD research is going on from department. Also, some scholars are doing.
Mhm.
So, and from other department also taking some research project. But the thing is that the encroachments, it's going on. It's not stopping. That is the
It's not
problem.
stopping. It's not stopping. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah,
So if you see, I've put 4 pictures. So you have one picture of the railway line. This is again from the Dipor Bill, which our friend just told us that the Dipor Bill has been encroached by a railway line. And so what happens is flooding. So every year you find people talking about floods, whether it's in Mumbai, whether it's in Kolkata, whether it's Assam, whether any big cities you name, every year you have a headline from a city saying that our city has been flooded. So the result of encroachment is on the left hand side, which shows floods, which means huge cost and also means huge problems for the citizens. Again, Adya has raised the hand. Can you ask her?
Definitely, I can unmute Adya, but yeah. Yes, Adya.
Adya can write her question in the chat box and let's move. Yeah, yeah, tell me.
In Bombay, there are lots of floods.
Hmm.
When I'm not him, my father is going to office and coming. There are lots of floods. He sometimes gets stuck in them.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem for the floods. So Mumbai had once the Mithi River, which is actually written as Mithi Drain, which has been encroached, and lots of such wetlands in Mumbai has been actually encroached. So this is what has happened to Bengaluru also. So Bengaluru, you see, more than 90% of the wetlands have been lost. Either they are encroached, built up, or they are polluted. They are polluted to the brim. They means there nothing can be done. There is no fish, no bird, no turtle inside all these wetlands. And this is what has happened to the top picture. If you see, that's of the Dipor Bill. There in Guwahati, there are, our friend from Guwahati also knows, there are series of wetlands which had been connected with one another. So whenever there used to be flood, the water used to flush away from one wetland to other. Now all these wetlands have been disconnected because all the connections have been encroached along with the wetlands which are encroached. So what happens now? The water coming, the gush of water that is coming in the wetlands cannot store the water. So there are spills, and all the water is everywhere in the city. And as Adya said, her father gets stuck in the flood in the waterlogged cities. So it happens to everybody, every parent who is going to the office, or every kid who is going to the school. So you have the Bangalore picture also, where the connection is called Raja Pulave, and all these channels which used to connect the water bodies, so that whenever some huge gush of water used to come in the water body, it could have been easily passed to the next one. But now the connections have been encroached, and all the water bodies have become discrete water bodies, and any gush of water coming inside it cannot stand there, and they overflow into the city. So let's talk of Western India, where we have Ahmedabad, and almost 50%, all these dots which you see are the water bodies, and 50% of these water bodies are built up even by post offices, schools, stadiums, buildings, everything. So they have already lost 50% of the water bodies. So let's come to eastern part. From western part, let's come to eastern part. Eastern part, Kolkata. Let's talk about Kolkata. Kolkata had in Kolkata, we call the water bodies as Pukur. In Orissa, we call it Pokori. We have tanks in southern part of India. So we call it by different names, which are very interesting. So in Kolkata, we call it Pukur, and the localities were named after a Pukur. So there are different names: Tal Pukur, Thakur Pukur, Manohar Pukur, Padma Pukur, Datta Pukur. And you have these localities. The localities are still there, but is the pukur still there? Let's spot the pukur in the next slide. So what do you see? Anyone who says what does the picture, what is the story the picture is telling? Anyone? In 2 words, what is the picture telling you? 2 words only. What is the story? So this will be world's shortest story, 2-word story. One of the world's shortest story will have 2 words. What is the story behind this picture? What is the picture telling? 2 words only. I want only 2 words.
This time, can we have a response from Shaurya? Shaurya,
I think the wetlands. I think the wetlands have disappeared.
Can you switch on your video? We would also like to see you. It would be nice.
I think the wetlands have disappeared. I cannot see any water.
Okay. Which class do you put up in?
7th.
All right. And which is your school?
Cambridge.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more answer?
I would like to go to Sheetal Pathania once again. Sheetal, we can notice that you are displaying our masterclass in your classroom, and we are really thrilled to see this. It would be great if we could interact with some of your kids. Are you listening to us? Sukanya, could you please help unmute Sheetal?
Yeah, on it. They should be able to unmute now.
Yeah, I think Sheetal, Sheetal, you will be able to unmute yourself now. Can you please tell us which school are you based? Which school are you from and where are you based? Hello, children.
Okay, Anubhuti, should we proceed?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So anyone, any issue can just type in the chat box. So I think Shaurya is completely right that the whole city has those small houses with actually the pukur was here and there is no pukur here. So the water body has completely vanished. So let's move to the southern part, Chennai. Chennai had over 600 water bodies in 80s, and then it all got, only a fraction of it is actually there. And if you see area wise of 19 major lakes, from 1130 hectares from 80s, it has shrunk to 645 hectares in 2000. So this has actually, this is a very sad story, because Chennai, there it is encroached by the huge IT industry. The IT industry, the software engineers, the people who are actually into computers, building softwares, building hardwares, they are all encroaching the place. The huge IT industry hub is on this marshy land of Chennai. And Chennai doesn't have stormwater drains. Stormwater drains is the drains that we see in front of our houses carrying the rainwater. So we need these sponges so that whatever cannot enter into our drains can go to the big water bodies, whether it is a marshy land, whether it's a pond, whether it's a river, anywhere. So in one point of time, we actually CSE tried to correlate like whether this vanishing wetlands can be correlated with the number of floods. And we were surprised to see that more it is encroached, more number of flood events we had in the last 1 decade. If you see any part, if you see number 7, you can see 6, You can see 4, you can see 3, 5, all sorts of numbers. Number of flood events. These numbers are number of flood events. And the blue lines around these circles are the encroachment. So you see, the more the encroachment, more the blue line around the circle, more is the number of flood events. So this is the need to save the wetlands from pollution, save it from encroachment. Now, another way of saving it, like we have friends from Guwahati. So Guwahati has actually done a splendid, they have taken a splendid step by legalizing the protection so that anyone who is encroaching, they can be brought to the court and punished. And along with that, they are also the Guwahati University, the civil engineering department, they are working to actually help the rainwater so that there is no choking of drains and the encroachment are also removed. So we have the courts to protect us, to protect our water bodies, but only thing we need to be aware, like how Guwahati has done it. So the country should follow Guwahati also. Yes, Guwahati has certain pictures of encroachment, but they also are doing some good work. So I am just going to another video which will give you that everything is not bad and people are actually having some good case studies. Sorry. Just a minute.
She carried me on her shoulders from my childhood till today. She is becoming very old.
Can you hear Anubhuti? Yeah, we can.
In 2009, Salem had a very severe drought. People were really scared what will be available or not. So in January 2010, we approached the collector for a tree felling issue. So during that conversation, we had a chance to say to the collector that we will take over some public spaces like lakes, and those lakes we will start reviving.
Around 10 years back, a few of us in Salem got together and we started the Salem Citizens Forum to take up some civic issues and all that. One of the first few things was taking up the revival of the Mokaneri Lake.
As we know, all the lakes mostly are done artificially, but perform a very important function. Earlier, when a township or a village had to be created, a water body had to be created. British people designed it and delivered the work. This was an irrigation channel. 4 channels were designed and it was irrigating almost 350 acres downstream. Well, with expansion, urbanization, very few farmlands remain. They are not dependent on the previous irrigation channel. Borewells have come. All the lakes were dry, so that prompted us to start thinking about water storage and restoration of lakes. So this was the first project we took up. Before 2009 or 2010, before we took over the lake, the state was that garbage was being dumped plenty here. The water got very polluted.
All the lakes were used around Salem were used as dumping grounds for garbage, because that was an easy way out for the corporation, Salem Corporation.
So 2010, February, the collector accorded us an unofficial permission to clean the lake. So we properly printed pamphlets. School especially took the lead. Golden Gates and Emerald Valley School took the lead, spoke to the parents, sent messages, SMS. Pamphlets were distributed to the public, and no surprising, 700, 800 people landed up.
We started with the volunteers, student volunteers, parents, public, everybody got together. We first started cleaning the lake.
Took us nearly about 6 months. Every Sunday we used to gather. There will be about 400 to 600 people from all walks of life, and from children to elders. So every day we used to collect around 1 to 1.5 lorry loads of garbage.
We just got the permissions from the government, but the entire project was funded by the public. There was an overwhelming response from the public at that time.
By May, we got the papers in our hands to execute works, to build infrastructure, to create parks, to create education space, and especially to create islands and plant trees inside the lake. You desil the soil, we're not supposed to send it outside. So we need to also desil the lake. We needed also a big green cover. We need a lot of trees to be planted. So we created these islands, and creating one island took us 1 day. Big machine was employed. It is a costly thing. 25,000 per day was needed. So we called citizens, friends and family, and a lot of volunteers called their friends. So a new community started evolving, and people donated very liberally.
This has been a first of its kind citizens initiative where it was done only by public contribution.
45 islands were created, 12,000 trees were planted, and rains came. In November the same year, the lake got filled up, and what a sight it was. Once we were done with the lake, we shifted attention to the bund. We planted millets initially on the bund so that erosion doesn't happen. Millets will immediately sprout, and the fertile soil helped the trees grow. In 6 months, trees went 10 feet high, which was something wonderful. We were all so happy about it. It took shape. Then we came out of the lake. Water had come in, we came out of the lake. Now we had to concentrate upon the bund. We got a help from an architect from Belgium. After 2-3 failed attempts of creating a beautiful park, he gave us a design with amphitheatre, with a walking path, how the curve should go. And then a lot of trees were planted of very different biodiversity. So this park has come out very well.
Once the trees came up, we had about 9 species of birds coming here. That's how the lake was revived ecologically.
Fishermen, because they release fishes, birds come to the lake. So this whole eco cycle is kick-started.
Sewerage from the surrounding areas was let into the lake. So we created another channel and diverted the sewerage water into the sewerage channel. So now this lake has purely rainwater. We had to face a lot of opposition from the surrounding areas like land mafia and then this corporation dumping the waste. So all these things took a lot of time. It took a few years to control all this, and then this is the present state now we are seeing.
With 22 lakhs, we completed the island and the planting work inside. For a government to take up such works, it's enormous amount of money. They speak in 50 crores, 42 crores, 55 crores. I don't know why it costs so much. We in Salem Citizens Forum have revived 2 lakes, big ones, 58 acre, 40 acre. one 10-kilometer stream for one lake called Ismail Khan Eri, designed 2 temple tanks sort of things, no? We call it Teppakulam in Tamil. All this we have completed in 1.5 crores. It is recharging 40% of Salem's groundwater. People have dig up thousands of bore wells, the residences, that needs recharge, and this is doing that job. And if people are able to acknowledge that connection between what this lake does to their own life, it will be great. We are quite happy that this has become a space for citizens of Salem to come and connect to a public space that rightfully belongs to them.
I really got so many joggers companion in this place. I got so many friends, and also I could see lot of people doing meditation and laughing therapy here.
Inside the city, this has become a major eco-environment hotspot, which needs to be protected at all cost.
So, not to feel jolly, isn't it?
Okay, so thank you for the video, Susmita.
Okay,
We are noticing some very interesting audience with us. Sabyasachi Majumdar, we can see that there is
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, sir. It's great to see that you have broadcasted our Masterclass online in your classroom. Can you please tell us which school are you from and where are you based?
We are from Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1, Ishapur, Kolkata.
Oh, that's amazing. You're based in Kolkata.
Yes.
Can you please allow us to interact with some of your students? Can we please hear from them what are their views on wetlands in Kolkata and all?
Sure. Yes. Anybody, come forward.
Hi, my name is Devshri Das. I'm from class 12B.
Okay, that's great. Please tell us a little about any wetland that you might have visited and that you have chosen to attend a masterclass in your school.
No, I have no experience.
Okay. Susmita, would you like to present any question to kids based in Kolkata?
I'm not sure what is the locality of this school.
It's actually they are very new for this type of workshop or the webinar, but I usually prefer to have field-based studies. Every year I used to take them to fields, and this year is not an exception. We'll just start this session, class 12. We will definitely visit the nearby. We have nearby Ganges in front of us, and interestingly there is a spawning ground for the hilsa, migratory hilsa fishes. Our school site is a spawning ground. There are about 30 fishermen communities are there, depending on hilsa fisheries. So we'll plan to have an interaction with them in very near future. And also yesterday we have the Earth Day program, and with Bharatiya Vidya we have a webinar where we have discussed about Invest in Our Planet program. And our nature club students participate in that. So gradually, beside the classroom, beside the book, we usually, in my class, I used to have these students get friendly with the nature, with the school campus, with outside, with vegetable market and fish market, and try to interlink life with the textbook. Thank you. It's basically a practical class, so I think why not to incorporate this in this particular session. Thank you.
Thank you. I think they are doing a splendid job of actually connecting with the community. And
Susmita, we are not able to hear you. Can you be a little louder?
yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a noise. I'm telling that this school is doing fascinating work. Actually, they are connecting directly to the community. I think their teacher is also doing a great work by actually telling them what is the practical work, means connecting the actually the textbook with the practical world outside, and that is important. That is how children learn. And I appreciate the work done by this school actually, because they are near the Ganges. They say they are near the Ganges, and they have lots of fishermen communities around them. So anyone else from any other part of India?
Before we close the chat, thank you so much, Sabyasachi sir, for getting the entire class to see our session. It's really great and encouraging for us as well, being a young website, to have such an interesting and large audience attending our session today. We would love to see you in our coming sessions every month. Our next question is from Vandana K. Vandana, I have unmuted you. Can you please proceed and ask your question?
Hi, I want to ask Susmita ma'am a question. So we talk a lot about climate change these days, and she said that wetlands help us mitigate climate change. So in case of a flood, they act as sponges. But what about how climate change, rising temperatures impact the wetlands? Can she speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So there is, as you said, rightly said, that there is actually increase in temperature. And as you know that some parts of the country have very high evaporation rates also. So what happens is the ponds and water bodies, they are the places where high evaporation rates are there, they actually dry up. And you know, in rural India, many, mostly 80% of rural India actually they are depending on their ponds, on these ponds, either for their drinking water source or their livelihood patterns. So they are actually depending on these water bodies. So rise in temperature surely increases the evaporation rate also, and also creates the drying up of the ponds. Now, another angle to this is, I'll tell you what, because our planners, city planners, you know, high rate of urbanization is taking place. I've shown you the map. So what happens is our planners, city planners, they do not actually value the water. They value the land. According to them, this is also a part of land. And once the ponds, the water bodies, they dry up, they become a part of land. And it is becomes very easy for the builders to actually, encroach them or pollute it. So what happens at the end of the day, there are two impacts for this rising temperature. So one is the high evaporation rate, for which the ponds dry up and the drinking water scarcity happens, or there is some issues around livelihood. And on the other hand, because the ponds are dried up, it becomes a very easy target for encroachment and pollution. So these are the impacts of increase in temperature on the water bodies.
Thank you so much, Susmita, for such a detailed and insightful response, and for running us through such an informative presentation. I would now proceed towards closing this session. In case we have any more questions from our audience, please send them to us. at young@downtoearth.org.in, and we would love to hear from you. Apart from that, very special thank you to Sabyasachi sir once again. And we really hope to see your classroom in our next session in May. I would now proceed. I would now request my colleague Sukanya to unmute all of you, and you can say your bye-byes and closing words.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, to conduct a wonderful session and giving us information about wetlands.
Anubhuti, please unmute yourself. You're still on mute.
All right, I'm so sorry. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Please stay tuned to our website. We are coming up with another very interesting and exciting session next month. And it would be great to see all of you join it. Till then, see you.